You must, according to today's left, fiercely support abortion on demand. You must staunchly believe that gender is a social construct. You have to believe in what I like to call the Gospel of Grievance. That's a title of another episode. That anyone who is poor or non-white or non-Christian has been oppressed and therefore deserves an upper hand and are entitled to be given more resources by the government because of their oppression. This falls under what is called intersectionality, the collectivist idea that every person on earth is categorized by the various groups to which they belong and are ascribed certain oppression points based on their group membership. The more oppression points you have, according to them, the more credibility you should be given, the more privileges you should be given in order to be accepted by today's left. You not only have to believe that, but you have to decry toxic masculinity. You have to believe that a man can be a biological female. A biological man can be a biological female as long as he declares that he is. You have to not just accept LGBTQ, but you have to celebrate it, and you have to shame others into celebrating it. And if that doesn't work, you have to legally force them to, like the example in the masterpiece Cake Shop, the Colorado man who has basically had his life and business ruined by people suing him for not selling a wedding cake to a gay couple because his religion stands opposed to homosexual marriage. You have to propagate white guilt. You have to view America as inherently bad and inherently racist. You have to resent the wealthy and believe that if anyone has money, it's because they have stepped on someone else to get it. Unless, of course, you are Beyonce or Bernie Sanders or Barack Obama, then it's fine. You must not just believe in climate change, but you have to support the government completely in overhauling our economy to, quote, fight it. You have to essentially believe in open borders, decriminalizing illegal entry, and believe in amnesty for all current illegal immigrants in order to be on today's left. This is what is taking over the Democratic Party. This is what is taking over anyone left of center. It is becoming more mainstream. Watch any of the Democratic debates and tell me that one of these things isn't true or is an exaggeration. And if you don't buy into one of these things, you are, as the kids say today, canceled. This also means, coming from a biblical perspective, that if you believe in Genesis 1:27 that God created human beings male and female, then you're out. This means that if you believe that marriage is between a male and a female, as the Bible shows us, and that is rooted in creation, reiterated in the New Testament, represented in Christ and the church, and thus reflective of the gospel, you are out. If you believe that the sixth commandment, thou shalt not murder, also applies to preborn children who, as Psalm 139 says, are intricately knitted together in their mother's womb, then you are out. Even if you believe that, okay, abortion should just be restricted after 24 weeks when a baby is viable, can live outside of the womb, you are out. If you believe that abortion should only be restricted in the moments before the child exits the womb and is about to cry and instinctively reach for her mother, you are out. You are not even allowed to shudder at the thought of a living, moving, feeling baby being injected with a poison, starved of amniotic fluid, and dismembered. You are not allowed to shudder at that. You are not allowed to cringe at that. You are expected to celebrate this and call it reproductive freedom and choice. If you believe, as the creation account shows us, as the book of Proverbs shows us, as 2 Thessalonians 3 shows us, that work is inherently good, that human beings were made to be productive, even make a profit and labor for what they have, then you are out. And if you are not out yet for that, you will be soon. If you believe socialism, which along with communism has accounted for the murderous deaths of 100 million people over the past century, which has decimated countries like Venezuela and violates 2 of God's 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not covet, and far goes beyond God's design for the civil government as outlined in Romans 13. If you believe that socialism maybe isn't the best system for the country, then you are out. If you believe that caring for the poor, as Jesus instructs us to do, is primarily the responsibility of the church and of individuals rather than bureaucrats, you are out of today's left.